Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about how to launch the Ethernet test application and also the first button on the application, which is the home button. So to launch the application, I'm going to go ahead and just tap the Ethernet application icon on my home screen, which you can see behind me. Now in this case, I'm actually using a Android tablet that's remoted into the DataScout via a Wi-Fi connection. So with the remote control option, you can control this via your phone, a standard iOS phone, an Android phone, using a standard web browser, and command and control the DataScout anywhere that you have access to that network connection. So in this case, I have it up on my tablet. I'm just going to go ahead and tap the Ethernet application on my home screen. And we see the splash screen appear, and what we'll see is this takes about 8 to 10 seconds for the application to initialize. And once it's done initializing, it'll bring you to the home screen. So we're right there now. It's just changing over. Here we go. We're at our home screen, and this is the screen that you're always brought to. The first button on the left-hand side says Home, and what you'll see as it goes down is there's a sequence of buttons: Ports, Select Tests, Files. And then across the top, you'll notice that there is a link status information. So we present the link information right up front as soon as we launch the application. So if you're plugged into a network, we're going to immediately show you the status for that network. So in this case, if we look at port A, the nice thing is we have status for port A and port B right up front, so you can see exactly what's going on. And I know that I have some jumpers plugged in between port A and port B, so I can demonstrate features to you today. And I can look and immediately see on port A that my link is up, my link is active. It is a copper 1 gig full duplex, so I'm plugged into the copper ports A and B right now. It shows copper cross, copper normal, so your MDI, MDX shows that. And also, because I have fiber jumpers plugged into the fiber port A and port B, even though we're not using those ports yet, we could in theory tell the unit to go over and start using those ports, and I'll show you how to do that in the next video. But in this case, if you were cutting over from a copper circuit to a fiber circuit and you had the SFP plugged into the DataScout and your jumper was already plugged into the port, it would at least give you a status of the receive power coming in. So before you ever cut your circuit over to the optical from the copper, you can see that your link's active on your copper, run a test, see that the link's active on your fiber, or that you're receiving optical power from your transceiver, and before you ever make that cut over. Because if you have a bad SFP or it's not provisioned properly, there's no sense cutting over to fiber if it's not active. So that's the reason why we show that right up front to you. It's a very nice feature. All right, so the other thing on the home screen is a little button down in the lower right hand corner that says System Info. If I tap on the System Info button, it brings us up to the System Info screen, and what we see here is an overview of the settings. At the very top, it shows what is the test platform, what version of software are you running, in this case 3.2.31. What firmware are you running, in this case 3.0.30, and then also the options that are supported and the MAC addresses, the source MAC address for each one of those ports. So the nice thing is that's all on one screen for you to reference directly from the home screen. If you ever call customer support and they need additional info, they may point you to this screen and have you read out those software and firmware, so that way they know what version you're running on and can help you do an update if you happen to be behind a release. The other tab on here is the Install tab. If I tap on Install, what I'm doing is I'm brought to a screen that shows which licenses are turned on. So this is where I was explaining in the previous video, how do you tell if you have the second port activated or the 10 gig port activated. You can come right over here, read off the options. Now, mine's a demo unit. I have all my options disabled because I have everything turned on. This is a demo unit. But in your case, what you may see is disabled and enabled. So if it shows enabled, that means that that license is enabled and it is active. To close out this screen, all you have to do is press the green X in the upper right hand corner. That will bring you back to the main home button, and we will be ready to start to move on to our next video, which is going to talk about the ports and how to configure the different ports for port A and port B.